Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Ayo me fele sama,
Me fele sama,
mama me fele sama,
me fele sama,
sisa me fele sama,
me fele sama,
ay mama me fele sama,
me fele sama,
brother me fele sama,
me fele sama, me fele sama, me fele sama, me fele sama, me fele sama, me fele sama.
mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama, mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama, mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama, mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama.
Ayo me fele sama,
Me fele sama,
mama me fele sama,
me fele sama,
sisa me fele sama,
me fele sama,
mama me fele sama,
me fele sama,
me fele sama.
me fele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama, mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama. Ayo.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama,
Ayo me fele sama,
me fele sama,
mama me fele sama,
me fele sama,
sisa me fele sama,
me fele sama,
mama me fele sama,
me fele sama,
mama me fele sama,
me fele sama,
sisa me fele sama.
me fele sama.
gotkushTV presents Sankofa, The Future of Black History, a unique Black History Month online series exploring all dimensions of time as we chronicle the Black past, command the Black present, and empower the Black future. Workshops include The Future is Black, Why is Black History Under Attack? With Shakara, We Create Value, The Ingenuity of Enslaved Africans, with Robin Walker, Ancestral Calling agriculture, and the Apobo Library Initiative with Aya Eneli. Quantum Field Theory as African Heritage with Asar Imhotep. For full information including dates and registration, visit gotkushTV.com. We have made history. We are making history. There is history still to be made. Sankofa, the future of Black history. A Black History Month series not to be missed. Sankofa, the future of Black history, is sponsored by Black History Walks, #1 for Black History talks, films, and walks in London. For more information, check blackhistorywalks.co.uk.
Fire burn them dirty king, blaze up them dirty king, fire burn them king, send him disastrous, and time he fast with us, ancestors walk with us, fire burn them king.
10-9 Wali, be thankful unto the Mother, Father, Creative Life Force of the universe. Kudzai Muzimokuro, we give praises unto our great ancestors. Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahodi, African power and African liberation for all African people. Share. Yes, indeed, we're back for another edition of Zivanai. For those who are not aware, Zivanai simply means let us get to know. Spoken in the beautiful language, one of the most beautiful languages in the universe, the Shona language, which is mostly spoken in the nation of Zimbabwe. And we have to do our show one Pangwa in Zimbabwe soon. You know what I'm saying? Because plenty of things are going in Zimbabwe. So yes, family, we're here, and this is our weekly spot. So we're here every Tuesday, every Ujima day, from the hour of 8 p.m. UK time, which corresponds to 3 p.m. EST, and you can situate yourself around the world in relation to the time zones. So yeah, we're here every Ujima day, family, from 8 p.m. UK time, and this is our open forum, our open mic, our open house. And normally I will wax lyrical on whatever topics are, on my mind at a particular moment in time, and then open the floor for ones to comment on what I have spoken on, or you can also, raise your own topics, go into the nuances, whatever it is, I'm saying, everything bless, yeah. And so I want to send a special shout out to our brother Nova Felder, who we just concluded a session with. He is a part of an organization called Baba, Bridging Africa and Black America. And so we were discussing the protest that took place outside the UN building in New York. And as I said yesterday on our impromptu show, Disagreement, Honesty and Disagreement, the UN, there's a lot of history in terms of Pan-African activism and organizing in relation to the UN, yeah? And that's a history in and of itself, how we've utilized that platform to propagandize our aims and objectives, yeah, at least since the 1960s, is a conversation that probably needs to be had. All right, so we give thanks to our brother for breaking down the information, and as has been said, as far as the current situation in so-called French-speaking West Africa, we are going to be having a number of shows delving into those dynamics in the coming month, yeah, in the month of October, kings and queens. And so I want to let you know the information about those sessions right here now. So just bear with me whilst I bring up the screen once again, kings and queens, yeah, because you need to be in tune with all the information, as well as our Black History Month series. Yeah, I'm encouraging everyone to come through our Black History Month series. Go to gotkushtv.com right now for all of the information, as you just saw in the advert. But also, we have a series coming up in October. And I'm going to be joined, I have the pleasure of being joined by our good sister kushT, who some of you may know her voice if you've been with us prior to today. As far as Zivanai is concerned, sister kushT is a regular contributor, and so she is going to be ministering and delivering a presentation for us on the 24th of October, breaking down the basic information that we need to know, in order to have an understanding of what is taking place. Yeah. And then on the 31st, myself and sister kushT are going to co-host a panel where we will be delving into deeper analysis of what is taking place, its implications geopolitically for Africans around the world, how we as Africans in the UK and around the world need to be getting involved and supporting, what are the challenges, what are the critiques, what are the nuances, what things do we need to be looking out for, all the dynamics we're going to try and delve into. We're going to have a panel of brothers and sisters from the continent and the diaspora on the 31st also. And I should also let you know that on the 10th and the 17th of October, we're going to have two shows once again, which is going to be dedicated because the month of October 2023 is the 40th anniversary of the assassination of Maurice Bishop, the Prime Minister of revolutionary Grenada between 1979 and 1983, and his assassination was really the first kind of major event that signaled the implosion and the destruction of the Grenada Revolution, because also it was followed by an American invasion 6 days after the assassination of Maurice Bishop. Yeah. And so we're going to be delving into the history of the Grenada Revolution, what they succeeded in doing, what they did not succeed in doing, the challenges, it's an area of our recent history that too few people know about. And so for the first session, we are going to be just delving into the revolution itself, and what it was. And we're going to be looking at live footage that was taken during the revolution, people and government ministers and organizers with among the people who are speaking about the revolution and its benefits and its challenges. And we are also then gonna, on the 17th of October, going to engage a panel, once again a panel that is going to be delving into a lot of those issues coming out of those videos and films, as well as the issues surrounding the implosion and the lessons that we need to learn from why that revolution was overturned. So I encourage everyone to come through for all of those sessions too, and we look forward to seeing you for all of these things. All right, kings and queens. All right, let me check in with the people them. By the way, so if anybody has any questions or commentary from our previous show with brother Nana Asadi, feel free to post them in the chat also. I just didn't want to I wanted to have that as a standalone video so people can watch that and engage that subject by itself, and we can get into general conversation over Yasa, because I'm going to be dealing with some other things. And if you were here yesterday, I'm going to do a bit of an addendum to what I did yesterday. I don't want to drag out the thing, but yesterday I was challenging our good brother Reggie Marbury in relation to what I consider to be his misrepresentation of our good brother Sekou, who did a brilliant presentation on this issue of what is taking place in West Africa. And so I am imploring brothers and sisters to disagree with honesty. Yes, honesty in disagreement. So I'm going to do a bit of an addendum to that today, and then I'm probably gonna play a video of an interview of a government minister in this country that I just found interesting. Then I'll open up the lines. So if you are watching via gotkushTV, watch via gotkushTV, you will see the link to join me live pinned to the top of the chat. So you can click that at any point when you want to come through. Once I've got gone through my own thoughts, I will open up the lines and anybody can come through. So let's ear up the people then we're there right here now. So we've got Anthony McFahale, I believe that is, always brings the I believe it's Kikongo. Greetings. James, always in the building. Brother Nova is still with us. Thank you, my brother, for coming through. We appreciate you. Mush Tino Tendai Mwadi, Tino Tatenda, sorry, Tendai Mwadi, give thanks, give thanks. Reparations Now has another question for brother Nova. They're going to engage in the chat, I guess. So, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, big up to yourself, brother Nova. And big up Kushti in the building. You don't know. All right. Like up the video as you come through, kings and queens. Like it up. Like it up. Like up the video as it comes through. Yeah, you know, Mush, me just hear about this thing here recently. Yeah, and I'm not gonna speak on it because me don't know the details too tough, but I was like, what? Yeah, me hear this thing here, I mean, I wonder what I go on. Yeah, for those who are not aware, there's some news about President Ruto of Kenya sending troops, yeah, to Haiti. This is a ridiculous thing where we just hear, but because if you know anything, yeah, generally speaking, yeah, militaries in African and Caribbean countries operates as little more than extensions of the police force. Yeah, very rarely, like in the UK and in Britain, except for in exceptional circumstances. Yeah, martial law. The military is not supposed to be seen on the streets. Yeah, is not supposed to be seen on the streets of the nation. The military is supposed to be defending and protecting the people them from foreign incursion. Where when it comes to Africa and the Caribbean, the military is used as an extension of the police force to shield and protect the government against the incursions of its own people because the government corrupt the blows neat. Yes. And therefore requires such kinds of protection. Yeah. So generally, African and Caribbean armies are not deployed to other nations. You generally not hear African and Caribbean armies defending their people against foreign incursion. That not go on. So when I heard it, I was like, what the hell is going on? This is a very new dynamic, you know. Yeah. There are shades of it in our history, which we're not going to go in now. But I have not heard of, yeah, a nation on the African continent sending a military to the Caribbean. The closest I've heard to that in terms of the modern geopolitical context is when, again, Grenada, yeah, when America did invade Grenada, Jamaica under the rulership then of Edward Seaga did send troops to aid America. Yeah, to invade Haiti. They must send troops clear from Kenya to go to Haiti. And we know I said the British involved in that. Yeah? Kenya can't just send troops to Haiti just so. Yeah, that can't go on in the current geopolitical reality. That will never happen. There is an American and a British hand involved in that decision. Nonsense. So trust me, yeah. And if anybody has anything more to share on that particular subject, feel free to do so today. The link is in the chat, brothers and sisters. It's pinned to the top of the chat. gotkushTV. Yeah. When the thing opens, yeah. If anybody has any more information than I have, then feel free to do so. All right, at gotkushTV. If you want your comments to be read, family. If you don't at gotkushTV, I will not be able to, because there's so many things that people comment, and obviously your own conversations. So please at gotkushTV if you want me to read your comments. Yeah, whether it's a question or a comment, it's all good. Just at gotkushTV. Now, what I'm gonna do very quickly, I'm gonna do two things. Yeah, the first thing that I'm going to do is just do a quick addendum to what I did yesterday when I was challenging what I consider to be the misrepresentation of brother Sekou. Yes. Presentation on this geopolitical situation in West Africa. Okay. And then I'm going to play a video on some UK politics. Yeah. Something that I just found interesting. I could play more on that, but we're just going to touch it briefly and go through. All right. So yesterday, brothers and sisters, for those who don't have the context of the thing, I was not very best pleased with a presentation that Brother Reggie, who's well known on platforms that are run by our good brother Sarnetta, also over there in New York. Yeah. And the Brother Sekou had delivered a presentation in early Messiah, August, on breaking down the nuances of the geopolitical situation in West Africa. And Brother Reggie, over a month later, for whatever reason, has seen to challenge him based upon, well, he said he was actually at the protest last week outside the UN building. He said he was there and on camera, and so felt that he had ammunition to use against Brother Sekou. But in doing so, he, in my humble estimation, very much misrepresented Brother Sekou's position. And so I did a show yesterday just to implore brothers and sisters to disagree with honesty. You don't have to misrepresent somebody's position in order to state your own. Okay, and I believe that a lot of what is taking place where that is concerned is this outgrowth of an ongoing anti-Sekou vibration that has been proliferating through certain platforms, and I believe it's sick, and I believe it is unprincipled, and I believe it should stop. Yeah. And thank you, Brother Nova, for confirming that Brother Reggie was indeed there. And so I went into that analysis yesterday in terms of why I believe that Brother Reggie's reading of Brother Sekou's position was a misrepresentation. There was one thing that I neglected, and so I'm going to take the opportunity today to do that, to just bring that particular context, and then I'm going to move on and leave that there. Shout out to Brother Sekou anyway there in the world. I'm going to just share my screen again and play this video. Yeah. Now, the reason why it's important for us to have honesty in the midst of disagreement is because we end up not only misrepresenting the people who we are speaking to directly, but in the need to win the debate, we will end up misrepresenting the positions of leading lights of our movement as Pan-Africanists and African-centered folks. And so this particular snippet that I'm going to play now is an example of this. And again, I precede my comments on this particular subject with stating that nothing that I say here is intended to insult or disrespect or degrade anybody. And I hope that what I am saying, what I am putting forward, can be received and will be received in the spirit that I am presenting it. Yes, and you know, those who do not receive it in that spirit, I just say it go. But I hope and I implore brothers and sisters to receive what I am saying in the beautiful Pan-African spirit of love that I am trying to relate to you. All right. And so check this out, family. Check this out. Brother Sekou eventually jumped on the conversation, and there was a back and forth conversation about certain things. And then the sister whose voice you're going to hear is a sister by the name of Julanda, who is challenging or was challenging Brother Sekou on certain things, not necessarily to do with this subject, but in relation to the debate that he had with Brother Ankh on the 15th of September, and the relationship and role of African spirituality within Pan-Africanism, African-centered thought, and the African liberation fight. Yeah, and so it kind of shifted to that direction, and because of that, Brother Sekou is asking Sister Jolanda a question in relation to one of the leading lights in the theory of Afrocentricity, or in the paradigm of Afrocentricity, Malefi Keti Asante. That's giving you some context for what you're about to hear.
Wait, it didn't. She answered the question to the best.
No, I said, what is his position on African spirituality?
I don't know.
Okay, I
don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. So
I know he aligns with it. He wrote a book on it, but you know, I don't know. Like I said, I can't speak for him 100%.
In the Pyramid of Knowledge, his last book, The Pyramid of Knowledge, he clearly stated what he thinks African spirituality.
Can everybody hear it? The video. I was making sure everybody can hear the video. Give me a one in the chat if you can hear the video. Yeah, so I'll make sure everybody can hear the thing before I go forward. All right, good.
Everybody should go back to it. That's his position.
Okay, so here's the reality. You're such a book person. You know everybody by a book, but you don't know them personally, right? So he is a first of all, he has his PhD in communications. He doesn't have it in Africana studies, right? Another important thing that you should know.
African, and you're right, Brother Reggie.
One or the other thing that thank you. The other thing that you should know, since you're such a book person and you don't know, right, is that his wife, Karimo, she was the lead writer of the first version of Afrocentricity. The second thing that you should know, in the first version, that he said that Europeans can be Afrocentric. He removed that. Why did he remove it? Because students like myself and then my wife at the time challenged that, right, in public. You should know that, right? The other thing that you should know is that he doesn't put his spirituality, right, forward. He's not looking for a spiritual political situation. He is a teacher who and a professor who grants degrees in their knowledge of the subject. His personal life is his personal life. I happen to know a little bit more about some things, but you read a book and you make it holy. So the fact of the matter is, his partner was Dr. Malana Karenga, right? And so in the early years, and if you know anything about Kawaida theory is not spiritual at all. It's not. So the quantum principles, and none of them have anything to do with spirituality. It was an African American form of practicing principles. Malefic Kiti Asante was very close to that. Now, what are you going to manufacture about Dr. Malefic Kiti Asante? You can write anything in a book, but his practice is a whole nother story. So you're an ideologue. You're an ideologue.
So let's see if we can do.
All right. So again, yeah, this is related to Brother Seku's position on African spirituality and its importance within the context of African culture, and African culture as an essential paradigm for forwarding African liberation. And so two leading lights of African-centered thought were mentioned there. One is Malefiketi Asante, and the other is Maulana Karenga. And it was said that neither of those deal with spirituality, yeah, on certain levels, right? And I just want to engage brothers and sisters in some brief exploration of those two elders and what things that they have said and they have written within the context of their work. And I hope brothers and sisters are reading our good brother Reggie's tone and his approach and his attitude, yes, within the context of this discussion, because it seems as though Brother Sekou is being challenged for reading and studying the African-centered paradigm. And for some reason, knowing Malefiketi Asante, or having some kind of a relationship with him, kind of seems to trump studying his work, yeah, and his ideas and the ideas that exist within the Pan-African, African-centered space. All right, and so that's very interesting. I'm not sure why that was an important to outline, but Brother Reggie thought it was. And so right now, let's do two things. Yeah, the first I'm going to do is read from Brother Malefiketi Asante's own work, yeah, an Afrocentric manifesto. And the reason why I'm highlighting this particular paragraph is because it relates specifically to part of Brother Seku's argument within the debate on African spirituality and science. Yeah. And so it's this particular paragraph right here that I'm going to read from. Yeah. And this book is written by Malefiketi Asante. He says the anti-spiritual and pro-material views of the West have driven the world to the brink of destruction more than once. It is certain that Western technology will not save the world. In fact, it may be that technology, along with its new adherents in the East, will hasten the destruction of the world. The corruption of the earth, from the poisoning of the air and water to the killing of innocent people as collateral victims of warfare, attests to the sense of terror that sits at the door of the Western world. Humans have been on the earth less than 300,000 years. Hominids have been here less than 8 million. And it's not guaranteed that we will be here another 300,000 years. As the trees and the protozoa outlasted the dinosaurs, they may also truly outlast humans, given the blind movement towards Ragnarok. The Afrocentrists cannot abandon ethics to those whose pattern of greed and destruction threaten human annihilation. This is the lesson of the most advanced thinking about centricity. Yeah. And so we begin by Malefiketi Asante outlining the fact that this mentality, yes, of destruction has been brought forward by the anti-spiritual and pro-material views of the West. And then when you look at the work of Malefiketi Asante and also Maulana Karenga, this idea of ethics, yes, you will see closely related, yeah, to the African spiritual systems, because the ethics of African centeredness are expressed within and through African spiritual systems. Yeah, so I'm just highlighting that specifically because it relates to an argument that Brother Sekou specifically made, yes, and has been making in the debate. All right. And secondly, what I'm going to do is read from one of Maulana Karenga's texts, yeah, which is difficult to get nowadays. But as you can see, yeah, Brother Reggie made reference to Kawaida theory, which is the theory that was developed and pioneered by Maulana Karenga as leader of the US organization in the 1960s and onwards. All right. As you can see, this book is called Kawaida Theory, an Introductory Outline. And the reason why I'm reading from this, and by the way, just so you can see, it's actually it is in fact written by Maulana Karenga. Yeah, right, by Maulana Karenga. And I'm reading from this because Brother Reggie has said that Kawaida theory is not spiritual at all. Yeah, it's not spiritual at all. Yeah, so let's examine that particular claim by reading from the text that is written by Maulana Karenga as an introductory outline to Kawaida theory. Give me a sec to situate my page. All right. I'm gonna show you the page so you know I'm not lie. Yeah. Okay. So page 27 of this text, yeah, under the subheading of correctives, yeah, engages in discourse on spirituality and religion. The subheading, yeah, stress on the role of religion in making a better life on earth. And it says stress on the value and the need of an earth-focused, human-centered religion, which is consciously concerned with the social and material as well as the spiritual. That's C, yeah. D, stress on the Africanization of religion, i.e., reshaping it in Black images and interests. If a people is determined to have a God, she should at least look like them, have a history with them, and be to their advantage. In a word, Their God must be partisan, and they must be his chosen people. Okay, so yeah, in fact, I'm going to read the A section. Yes, I'm going to read the A section here. Yeah, for the sake of brevity. All right. Just so you understand where he's going with this. A redefinition, sorry, again, correctives here. Kawaida opposes these basic correctives. A redefinition and redirection of the spiritual aspect of religion. Spiritism must be defined not as belief in spirits and spooks, but as intense emotional commitment to the highest values of humankind, those which protect and promote human life, development and humanity. Belief in spooks who threaten us if we don't worship them and demand we turn over our destiny and daily lives must be characterized as spookism and condemned. And then he goes on to talk about stress on the social role of religion in making better life on earth, which I just read, and stress on the Africanization of religion. Okay, so brothers and sisters, it's patently not factual to say that and there's more I could read, yeah, because Maulana Karenga has written extensively, including a translation of the Oduifa, yeah, which he done in collaboration with an Isheshe or Ifa Babalawo priest. Okay, you know, so it's just patently not true to say that Kawaida theory is not spiritual at all. Yes, it very much engages in spirituality and seeks to define it in particular kinds of ways. Yeah, that would be a more accurate, you know, assessment of the thing. And finally, I'll say this: if brothers and sisters wanted to disagree with Sekou, they might. This is an example, yeah, of disagreeing with honesty. You might say, Brother Sekou doesn't put enough attention or weight on the extent to which the West, yeah, the geopolitical West has created the jihadi factor in Africa. Yeah, this is not, I'm not saying I agree with this, I'm saying that that might be a reasonable challenge to Brother Sekou. Yeah, that doesn't misrepresent his point or his position, if that makes sense. Yeah, it might be reasonable. And I don't see why that can't be done without having to misrepresent the brother's entire argument. All right. Okay. We're going to leave that there, sir. We're going to leave that there, sir. All right. I just wanted to add that to the thing because I didn't do it yesterday. And we're going to move on now. The link is in the chat, family, for those who want to join the conversation, raise your own points, comment on whatever I have raised, and you can feel free to do so. The link is pinned to the top of the chat when you're watching via gotkushTV. We're going to move on to one of our good brothers. Nenen, come please. We're going to move on to one of our good brothers over here, or not so good brothers, as the case may be. In the UK, Kwesi Kwarteng, yeah, member of parliament for the Conservatives, featured on Piers Morgan recently, yeah, and there was a very, very interesting exchange between Piers Morgan and Kwesi Kwarteng. For those who are not aware, Kwesi Kwarteng is a politician in the UK, and he is now famous for having been the Chancellor of the Exchequer, yeah, which is effectively the Minister of Finance under the very short term of Liz Truss, yeah, between about a year ago, yeah. So I think she came in August last year. And yeah, was out by September. All right, so we're around the 1 year anniversary of her very short tenure, and she is now the shortest reigning prime minister in the UK's history. And so, you know, recently Kwesi Kwarteng has been doing the rounds on the media in relation to his role as the Chancellor of the Exchequer, because one of the major highlight of Liz Truss' premiership was a so-called mini budget, yeah, that was delivered by Kwesi Kwarteng as Chancellor of the Exchequer, and this mini budget basically crashed the UK economy, yeah. And it's more nuanced than that, but that is the general headline. And so now Piers Morgan is challenging Kwesi Kwarteng on whether he should apologize to the British people. Yeah, and so you're gonna hear the Kwesi Kwarteng's response now.
By the former Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng. Kwasi, great to see you. You've never said sorry for
I've never
for what happened a year ago.
What
Just
I've
over a
said,
year ago.
what I've said, I bear responsibility for it.
Why not say sorry?
And what I want to do is to make sure that we actually get back to a growth agenda.
What do you bear responsibility for?
Well, I think the way that we delivered it and the speed with which it was delivered was wrong. And I've put up my hand frequently and said we should have taken more time. We should have had a more balanced approach. And I've said that repeatedly in interviews on television.
But I'm really curious why you've never been able to bring yourself to say the simple words, "I'm sorry." After all the damage that was inflicted by that ruinous 44-day regime of Liz Truss, and I'm sure that you would say, and we'll come to this, a lot of it was on her.
No, I'm not here to apportion blame. I mean, that's one of the reasons.
But if you take responsibility for causing,
that's one of the reasons why.
I get it. But if you take responsibility, why are you also not prepared to say sorry?
So I think it sounds like a lawyerly distinction, but I think there's a difference between saying I was responsible.
Sounds like a bit like a cowardly distinction.
No, because actually a lot of the debate, and you've probably been following this, if you look at things like slavery and reparations and all of that is all about saying I'm sorry. And in those instances, the people themselves weren't entirely responsible for stuff that happened 200 or 300 years ago.
I agree with you.
So what?
I don't see why people today should be apologizing for the behavior of ancestors 300 years ago. But you were the guy.
No, but again, as in government, there are lots of different people, there are lots of different agencies, lots of different people who are involved. So it doesn't make any sense.
You were the chancellor.
It doesn't make any sense.
All right, so as you can see here, this is about a 20-minute interview. The entirety of this interview was taken up with this question of Kwesi Kwarteng apologizing to the British people for what him and Liz Truss do to the economy during the 44 years of their premiership as Prime Minister. All right. Now, Kwesi Kwarteng decided to fling in the issue of reparations, into why he refuses to apologize to the British people. All right. And the reason why he felt that line of reasoning might be successful in this platform. Good night. Have a good sleep. All right. The reason why he felt that might be a good line of argument is because Piers Morgan is well established, anti-reparationist, has had a number of shows, even on this show, anti-reparation conversations. All right. Well established. And so he thought, for whatever reason, that bringing that line of argument, and by the way, Talk TV is a well-known right-wing media outlet, and Piers Morgan is a well-known right-wing media pundit. So for some reason he thought, that this individual, because of his position on reparations, might be amenable, to this fool argument about, it's like reparations, why should the British public be apologizing for what people done 200-300 years ago? And by the way, slavery did not end 200-300 years ago. Let's bear that in mind, right? Even as far as the British is concerned, all right? Let's bear that in mind, all right? So I just found that funny, brothers and sisters, in terms of how this African man, and I use that term loosely, felt that he could curry favor with the British right wing. It's a sign of power dynamics here. This is the reason why it's interesting to me. This is a parliamentarian, a member, somebody who was in the cabinet of the UK government. And he feels that he, to prove and demonstrate his alignment with British values, felt that he needed to demonstrate his allegiance, by rubbishing the issue of reparations in relationship to why he refuses to apologize to the British for a matter that only happened 1 year ago. This is confused thinking. Yeah. And this is what happens when you are culturally misoriented as an African. That the people that you are sucking up to and shuffling and shucking and jiving in front of will ridicule you. When you are proven to not be acting in their interests. And in this instance, that was crashing the UK economy. I'm going to leave that there, family. I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, I'm sharing the link once again. The link is in the chat. Anybody can come through and join the conversation. Like I said, you can speak to what I've already said, or you can raise your own points, comments, nuances, something that I may not have mentioned. And I'll be very interested in anybody who has a perspective on the Kenya vibrations, Kenya sending the troops to Haiti. Yeah, I never hear nothing like that before. It's a mad thing. Yeah, I never hear nothing like that before. You know what I'm saying? You know, we never hear nothing like that before. What usually happens, brothers and sisters, is when we have liberation movements and revolutionary movements on the continent in particular, there is a history of Africans from various different nations supporting other Africans who are engaged in the liberation fight. There's that history. There is a history of Africans traveling from America and other parts of the Caribbean to fight and support Ethiopia when Italy invaded it. Yeah, there is that history. There's a history of Africans from South Africa, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Tanzania, etc., supporting each other militarily in each other's liberation, anti-colonial liberation war. There's a history of Africans from Cuba traveling to places like Angola, yes, and supporting, and Congo, and supporting anti-colonial liberation movements. Yeah, this is what me know about. I have not heard of an African nation sending troops clean go to the Caribbean. Yeah, and unless, and I doubt this highly, but unless the troops are being sent to support the just uprising of the people of Haiti against the puppet governments that are continuously being imposed on the people of Haiti in the last 100 years, particularly by America, there can be no justification for that move. Like I said, I'm not commenting on it in detail because I only saw the headline recently and have not delved into an analysis, yes, and an information fact find on what the blows not is going on. Yeah, I don't know, yeah, in detail. That's why I'm not commenting on it extensively. But yeah, it's a sad state of affairs if that is the case. So yeah, you know, be yourself, Kwezi Kwarteng. You did try our thing, you know, for your European master there in front of you, and it kind of backfired. I just found that very funny and very interesting. If you would like your comment read out, please at gotkushTV. Yeah, some people don't want to come live; them just want there in the chat and them thing there. But you might have a comment or a question. Please at gotkushTV, and I will certainly read your comment out. If you don't at gotkushTV, I'm gonna assume that you are just talking to people in the chat. And whilst we love you, we love that. Feel free to conversate with people in the chat. That's all well and good. It's a part of the process. We're not gonna make everybody. We're not gonna read through all the comment them. Yeah. So if you want your comment read, feel free to at gotkushTV. All right. And so this situation with Kwezi is this emblematic, yeah, of a move within British society at the moment, Western society in general, to give significant voice to Black people who parrot conservative neoliberal talking points, who have a significant undying allegiance, yeah, to the United Kingdom of Great Britain and its defense and protection, especially against the Negroes who reside in its borders, and would be critical of its continuing neo-colonial agenda in today's world. Mush, who has added Gotkush, says there has been too much criticism of UN forces in Haiti, so US wants to give the operation the blackface. I agree with that analysis. Yeah, on the face of it, like I've said, I have not delved into the weeds, so to speak, of this issue, but that would be in line with how they operate. Yeah, that would be very much in line with how they operate. And in particular, because of the fact that the recent assassination of the previous Haiti president, yeah, the CIA has been implicated in that. Yeah, quite explicitly. The CIA has been implicated in that vibration. Yeah, as well as the increased reparations call from the Caribbean in recent years, for the last decade. America has to continue to present itself as the land of the free and the home of the brave. And so sometimes you have to change tact. Yeah. Now, the reality is that I don't believe as African people yet, in militarily, propaganda wise, or anything like that, that we are as organized as we need to be in order to withstand an American invasion or even their propaganda to a certain degree. But more people are waking up and they know this. Yeah. Them study the thing. Yeah. Them study the thing very, very well. Yeah. And so what they need, what they need is more Black people who are willing to do their bidding explicitly and openly. And so what you're finding in the Western world is, again, these big profiles that are being created, for the Black right wing. And all they tend to do, this Black right wing, their number one job is to negate, any issue that has that is centered around the Black experience, except for maybe the issue of fatherless homes. That's about as extensive as a Black-centered issue that they want to go. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Anything else, you must negate the specificity of addressing a Black agenda in any other issue other than that one. Yeah, and that one is related to things like Black on Black crime and so on and so forth. Yeah. And so I was incensed to read that headline, and I thought I even thought, could that even be the case? Is that even true? Like, because we're living at a time of what they call it fake news. You know what I mean? So yeah, family. It's a slow day today in terms of people coming on the panel, which is fine. Yeah, I don't mind. That's all well and good. If people don't want to listen, that's perfectly fine. But once again, if you want to join the conversation via the chat, feel free to @gotkushTV, and I will definitely read your comment. Yeah, but yeah, bear in mind though that if relating to Mush's comment, as Brother Nova said in our previous conversation, America has the biggest military in the world. Yes, and Kenya was one of the first places that America sought to institute AFRICOM. Yes, under the presidency of Barack Obama. Yeah, there's a letter that Obama wrote to AFRICOM in 2008, 2009. Where he basically said to him, yeah, you know, we can develop a relationship, and one of the things that we want you to do is allow us to build a military base, yeah, for our AFRICOM, yeah, our African High Command over there, so, yeah. So to the extent that Kenya is sending troops clean go Haiti, yeah, try know that Britain and America, yeah, are providing resources for that agenda. When you ever hear that, African military see clean cross the water on a military agenda? Sure, nonsense. It's so bloody obvious. Kushti is asking the question. Yes, I have. Have you seen the interview with the Guyanese president on GMB? Yep, I have seen it. And putting the politics, the racial politics of Guyana aside for a second, yeah, because that is a ticklish subject in all ways, yeah. But putting the racial politics of Guyana aside for a moment, he gave the right answers to the question. Personally, I will say this, yeah, in general, this is not a what I'm about to say is not limited to the issue of racial politics. Yeah, in my humble estimation, a lot of the Caribbean government's call for reparations is entirely, I shouldn't say entirely, significantly hypocritical because of the relationship that the Caribbean governments have to the masses of the people in the Caribbean. And the fact that they haven't reconciled those relationships yet, yeah. And so neocolonialists cannot succeed in securing real reparatory justice. Yeah, that's my general position. However, when it comes to media and propaganda and diplomacy, the boy Richard was well out of order, feisty. Yeah, right. Yeah, it was well and out of order because him not go talk to any and anybody them way there when it comes to heads of state of a nation. Yeah, and the answer was correct. Yeah, made him look like the fool that he is. Yeah, and so we give credit where credit is due. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We give credit where credit is due. I'm sure most people have seen that. If anybody has not seen the Guyanese president being questioned on British media, let me know in the chat and I'll play the video. But I'm assuming that everybody's seen it, so I'm gonna play it. Yeah. King Kiel, what you say?
Greetings, some brother and some people in the chat.
Brother. Yes, sir. You good?
Yeah, man. Wicked for the show. Earlier on with the brother from the stage, brother.
Yes,
this is how we have to get down. I was wondering if you could play the video. You know, the guy, because I didn't get to look at it. If you don't mind. Yeah, I mean, I see it, man.
We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it. Yeah, we're gonna play it. All right.
Powers, man. Yeah, man. Yes, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny still. It was funny, you know, like, yeah, you know what I mean? It was funny, you know, and I'm sure all the anti-reparationists over here were incensed by the president's pronouncements on this issue. I don't know. And you know the funny thing is, yeah, this Richard boy has been on television, yeah, from before me born. Yeah, we don't know a life without this boy on the TV. I have never seen him so irate. Yeah. And so head up. I have never seen him that in 30 odd years of television. I have never seen this guy, yeah, that irate.
Him come out the rock.
Yes, him come out by himself to blows not. Yeah. Hey, fam, I don't know, boy. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm trying to bring it up right now.
Them love to reap on reparation and them not doing nothing for the community. And as soon as them drop on TV, them talk about Pan-Africanism.
That's true. Yeah, like. So I think I got it now. 1 second. All right, so we're gonna play this thing. I know. Yeah. So it's a very and you know the funny thing is that what I've noticed on social media, if you want, there's a
a thing whereby issues of like whenever you post about reparations on like Instagram or them kind of things there, like you're almost guaranteed for that video to go viral, you know. And there's a whole cadre of white British people and Americans, yeah, who are ready to flood your comment section. It's a coordinated attack. It's happened to me a number of times now. Yeah. That these people operate in that kind of way. All right, so we're gonna play this thing. We're gonna play this thing then, yeah, because a few I want to see it, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just to clarify, the reason why I'm referring to the politics, the racial politics in Guyana, is because Guyana has an African population and an Indian population, and the president is Indian, yeah. And so there are some nuances and dynamics racially within Guyana that need to be taken into consideration. But like I said, the answer that he gave within the context of propaganda, etc., was a good one. All right, so we're gonna play this thing, you know. And who's just joined us? Empress Kush has just joined, so we're gonna come to you, Empress Kush, after we play this.
Though, isn't it? At least he's telling you what he thinks.
Part of my junior school, we were in a porter cabin for a couple of years. I rather enjoyed it too, actually. It was a bit novel.
Hang on,
I'm not saying I want children in porter cabins.
Totally accept what Susanna says about your children going. Irfan Ali joins us live now from New York, where he's going to be addressing world leaders at the UN General Assembly on this subject later today. So we've got in early with you. Okay, let me ask you a question, Mr. President, on behalf of all of our viewers who would be covered by this. Why should somebody who maybe had an ancestor 7 or 8 generations ago, long before they were a twinkle in their great-great-great-grandparents' eye, why should they have to pay now for what an ancient ancestor did? Or why should they apologize for what an ancestor did centuries ago? Why do they still carry that burden?
Oh, it's not a burden at all. You are one of the beneficiaries of that slave trade. So this is not a burden. You should be concerned, and you should pay, because you today are still benefiting from the greatest indignity to a human being, and that is a slave trade. And not only did you benefit during the slave trade and your country develop, but look at what it caused the developing world. During slavery, resources was used to build your country, build up your capacity. You were able to then become competitive. You were able to invest in mechanization, and developing countries like ours were left behind.
So you should be very concerned, because you are prime beneficiary of the exploits of slavery.
So put a figure on it, please, because it always comes down to the bottom line. How much should an individual taxpayer in a country like the UK be signing a check to a country like yours, Ghana?
Well, it's easy to calculate. We can use the time value of money. You can look at the period of slavery and the contribution not the contribution,
the action of wealth from countries like ours, and how it was utilized to build your society, build your country, create wealth in your country, and then add the time value of money, and you will get the value. There's a lot of research paper on this. A lot of universities would have done paper on this. There's enough literature to tell us what that value is. But I want to say that it is not only the value, it is the loss of time. It is a loss of competitiveness. It is a loss of human dignity. It is a loss of our education system. It is the culture that we lost. It is all of this indignity that surrounded slavery that we must consider.
I just wonder, people will be wondering what, you explain that there are calculations, but are you able to say in what measure that would be? I mean, are we talking billions, millions? What would you expect the payout to be, and over what period of time?
Well, this year in Guyana, we commemorate the 200th anniversary of the Demerara Rebellion. And it took 200 years to get an apology from one of the families. I don't believe that you would want us to wait 200 years for reparative justice and for us to take this conversation forward. CARICOM would have set out a 10-point plan on what should constitute reparative justice and what should constitute reparation. And the calculation goes into billions for the region.
How far back, though, do we have to go on this? Because you make the point, we're talking exclusively here about Western imperialistic slavery, to summarize it. But almost every civilization on the planet owes its existence and its prosperity almost always to crimes in the past, be they aggressive wars, be they different forms of slavery involving different movements of population. You can go right back to the Greeks and the Romans. Why just target one particular era in history? Some would say that's the arguments of political convenience. It's a handy handle to hang your argument on.
I think you're doing a great injustice to compare slavery with any other of the historical facts that you're mentioning.
I was including other forms of slavery. No, but I was including other examples of slavery as well.
To the indignity that slavery brought to people, that is the first thing. And I'll give you an example. Coming on to your program a few moments ago, you were speaking about net zero and climate justice. We are speaking about, the world is speaking today about climate justice and compensation and how we address the issues of climate change. And this is the problem. We live in a very unjust society. You know, we condemn completely the war in Ukraine. But if you look at the mobilization of resources in the war in Ukraine, in 2 years, you have mobilized more support for Ukraine than we have mobilized for Haiti for 60 years. You have mobilized more support for Ukraine than we have mobilized for Palestine for 20 years. You have mobilized more support for Ukraine in just 1.5 years than we mobilized to address the issue of hunger in Africa for 3 years. And that is the type of unjust way we have been dealing with these crises. And we are not going to tolerate the injustice that occurred during slavery to be compared with any other system. Slavery, we all agree, was the greatest injustice ever done to human beings. So we should not ever try to compare this to any other system.
No.
There is no other system that has created greater injustice than slavery and indignity to humankind in slavery.
President Ali, I wonder if I can talk to you about another issue. In fact, you raise it there. Guyana discovered crude oil in 2015, and by some accounts, that makes your country the world's fastest growing economy and will be one of the largest per capita oil producers in the world by...
I'm just looking at Richard Fierce.
No.
Richard Vex, Richard does Vex in God already, you know. Richard Vex no blow. Sorry, So I'm gonna play the rest right now. The sweet part soon come, the sweet part soon come. All right.
So.
What responsibility do you feel now as an oil producer amidst the warnings of climate catastrophe?
Well, it is not what responsibility we feel now. It is the responsibility we have always held close to us. We have a forest the size of England and Scotland combined, with the lowest deforestation rate in the world at 0.036%. The entire forest is R3 certified, quality carbon, and this has been standing there forever. The question is, what has the world done with that standing forest? Is the forest worth more dead or alive? So these are the questions. So we have always been a part of the answer. And although we are a newcomer to the petroleum industry and the oil producing industry, we have said very clearly that we support the removal of subsidy on exploration, and we support a carbon tax. We also said that we support a balanced approach. And coming on this program, I heard that we are going to go back on some of the policies in the UK on petroleum and EVs and so on.
Yeah.
So what is the balanced approach?
Okay.
The balanced approach is how do we get the petroleum company around the table? This cannot be, we cannot go into COP28 with two extreme ends.
All right,
Everyone needs to be around the
Mr.
table
President,
so we can have commitment from all the stakeholders.
Okay, Mr. President, you make that clear very briefly now, because we're over time here. I know you've got to go and we've got to move on as well. But very briefly, coming back to where we came in, one of the points you're going to be making today is about our royal family. And you feel that it's not just about the finances involved here in terms of reparations for slavery, it's about the gestures. And you think that the British royal family should make a big gesture, don't you? What do you mean? Hand over a palace to your country?
Well, no, we don't want the British to hand over a palace that we built. You know, if you go into many of the palaces in Britain, you will see the lovely green heart wood from Guyana. You will see the sweat, tears, and blood of the slaves who were exploited.
So what do you want?
And the revenue that was earned from their exploitation. So we're not asking for a palace. We're asking for justice and a fair form of justice to the ancestors and to the greatest injustice that has ever been done to human beings.
We look forward to
we're not asking for palaces. You can enjoy the palace, and when we visit you, we'll also enjoy it.
Mr. President, we really look forward to your speech later on today to the UN. I'm sure there'll be much coughing and shuffling of feet, because when it comes to getting people to put their hands in their back pockets, you've got a mountain to climb. But you make some very interesting arguments. Thank you for your time. Thanks for the preview. We appreciate it.
President of Guyana.
The man bashed down on the table, you know. Reparation of black people.
I like
in the morning. What's the aggression for? First thing in the morning.
No, you're supposed to have good. Listen, yeah, them people that are trained to be composed, you know. You know?
Yeah, man, it's true.
This man has been on television for 30 odd years, I'm sure. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just lost his rag completely. Lost it, gone completely. Yeah. Now there is another issue in regards to the oil in Guyana, and maybe that's a whole nother conversation, a show in and of itself. Yeah, because there's a lot that he said there that I would need to research as well, and probably brothers and sisters don't fully understand, and so that's another subject for another time. Yeah, but one of the things I want to highlight from this, and I'm gonna come to you after this, Kushti. Yeah. But one of the is the way they belittle the conversation. All right. And so this idea of, so what you want to do? Hand over a palace. Yeah. And so the good thing about the president's answer is that he treated the answer with the ridiculousness that it deserves. Yeah. Right. You know what I'm saying? This, we don't want a palace where we build, you know what I'm saying? And shut up the boy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the boy for shut up. But having said that, yeah, there was an issue raised about how long ago and rah. And an interesting piece of information has been highlighted in the last few weeks. Yeah. And I'm going to read from Fox News on this one. And as brothers and sisters can see, the headline says, Italian descendants to receive reparations 80 years after Nazis hanged family members in Fornelli. Once again, Italian descendants to receive reparations 80 years after Nazis hanged family members in Fornelli. Yes. Surviving family members insist case was about justice for a war crime, not cash. I repeat, surviving family members insist case was about justice for a war crime, not cash. All right, let me read a piece of this now. Nearly 80 years after German Nazis kicked off a violent occupation against its former ally, Italy, some of the relatives of 6 civilians hanged on a hillside for killing a soldier foraging for food will be paid a portion of 12 million euros for reparations. The 6 civilians, bear in mind that this is 12 million euros being paid to the families of 6 civilians who were put to death, yeah, in Fornelli, which is which is in southern Italy, and the reparations were awarded for the family's trauma by an Italian court. Yeah, we still mark the event every year. It hasn't been forgotten. Miro Petra Raka, I believe that is, the great grandson of one of those killed, said Petrarca's grandfather, Domenicio, with the Italian, was a 52-year-old Roman Catholic father of 5 daughters and a son when Nazis killed him. Reuters reported that rather than Germany paying, though Italy will fork out the settlement money after losing a battle in international courts over whether Berlin could still be held liable for damages tied to World War II war crimes. While Jewish Italian organizations believe Berlin should pay out of historical responsibility, groups representing the victims believe Rome is taking its time going through claims that could turn out to be pricey. This is and I'm gonna skip this piece. A German government-funded study that was published, a German government-funded study that was published in 2016 reported that 22,000 Italians were victims of Nazi war crimes, including up to 8,000 Jewish people who were sent to the death camps. Nazis also reported forced thousand more Italians to work as slave laborers in Germany, making them eligible for reparations. Going back to 1962, Germany and Italy entered a deal in which, descendants of the 6 Catholic Fornelli men who were hanged are likely to be the first to benefit from a new government fund set up to deal with the claims. Going back to 1962, Germany and Italy entered a deal in which Germany paid $40 million Deutschmarks, which today amounts to 1 billion euros, to cover damages brought on by Nazis on Italians. Although Italy handed pensions to people who were politically or racially persecuted and their descendants, reparations for war crimes were not paid. Yeah. There was a next section I could read from this. I can't find it now, but I'm gonna come back to it. Yeah. So we see that these people are still apportioning reparations between each other. Yes, on the basis of what they see as legitimate. The question then becomes, because remember 2 things. 1, the conversation about African reparations is not just concerning money. Yes. All right. So we have to remember that very, very carefully. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Reparations as it relates to African people is not just relating to the period of the so-called transatlantic so-called slave trade. It is about colonization.
That's right.
So these people, 80 years after the Nazis do what them do over there, yeah, are entitled to reparatory justice. Now, bear in mind, in fact, that's not something another time, but we'll wake up to it later. But if those people are entitled, why are the people of Congo not entitled, and the people of Kenya not entitled, and the people of Namibia not entitled? Yeah, and the people of South Africa and Zimbabwe. What's the argument for that? Why are the people of Haiti not entitled for the American occupation of Haiti 100 years ago? Yeah. Why is that? What's the justification behind these things? Kushti.
Yes, bro, that was deep. 80 years ago. I mean, that was so long ago. Get over it now. What they had done. There's no living people that are alive now to did this to people in Italy.
No, it's specifically the descendants. Nobody know what's off of that thing. They're not, they're alive, right? You know.
Yeah, so I don't
Yeah.
understand. That's the rhetoric that we're using. Isn't Italy like broke from migrant situation? All of a sudden, there's a big fuck.
We can hear echo in the background.
Is it just? I think that's probably. Oh wait, let me. Is it me or is Christy breaking up a little bit?
I think I'm echoing again.
Okay, I'm a mute while you talk. Go ahead if you're not finished.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that, you know, the one rhetoric for us is a different from them, because 80 years ago, I mean, that's a long time ago, and people who are living now are not meant to pay on behalf of what happened so long ago. They should just really get over it. And we're hearing all of this thing about Italy being broke and they've got an issue with migrants, and all of a sudden they can set up a fund. It just proves all the points that you was just saying before. It's just the hypocrisy is just real. I mean, yeah, that was powerful to show that, and that was dated. I think it was September 2023. That article, because I looked at the date of that. That's very recent.
No, yeah, it's in the last 3 weeks. Yeah, I think it's the beginning of September. I'll get the date for you now. 1 second. The 3rd of September. 3rd of September.
It's unethical code of conduct. Unethical code of conduct.
Absolutely.
I agree with my brother. It's, you know what, it's the reality is it's about who is seen as human and who is not.
Yeah.
It's the reality of the situation. Because you notice, right, that I had an interesting conversation with a guy at Speaker's Corner last year or before, can't remember. You can watch that conversation on Content Over Everything. Yeah, on the issue of reparations, and in the midst of the conversation, a Zionist Jewish gentleman came into the conversation, attempted to challenge my position. Yeah, on justice for African people, and juxtaposed it with what happened with the Jewish community, worldwide community, and said that was for reparations for specifically for victims. And at first I challenged him on the fact that, no, actually, that's not true, because the state of Israel was a part of that reparatory justice. And the state of Israel is a home for the protection of Jewish people, not just those who suffered the Holocaust, right? The first point. Second point is that this article, it reads, that there's a Jewish human rights organization in Italy that believes that Germany still has historical responsibility. The government of Germany still has a historical responsibility to pay the reparations. Yeah. So I'm wondering if the Jewish gentleman that I was debating would have that position in relation to this particular incident right here. And bear in mind that even though Italy is being charged with the responsibility of providing the reparatory funds, Germany was the government that funded the study. Yes, into these war crimes.
Look at that.
Yeah, into these war crimes. Yeah, the German government funded the study into these war crimes. Okay, so we are a people that come from a continent that is full, yes, of criminality of Europeans. Sorry,
that's right.
In the colonial project, full of it. In the last 100 years.
And you know that they never speak about the African freedom fighters who rescued the Jewish people under Hitler. They never speak about it, man.
Yeah. It's an interesting point. Well, the reality, they tend not to speak about the Africans who suffered under Hitler in general, because there were many people who were not Jews who were also aggressed against under Hitler. So yeah, that's a part of the problem where that is concerned. Family, the link is in the chat. You can feel free to join the conversation. I'm gonna share the link once more as we approach the conclusion of our show today. I want to thank King Kale and Sister Kushti coming through. do so. Yeah, you don't feel like you have to go anywhere. You can stay where you are for now. What's it called? You could do the same. Or if you want your comment to be read out, please at gotkushTV. If you have a question or a comment that you would like read out, please at gotkushTV. Let me take this opportunity right now to just share some information with you. Do stay tuned.
gotkushTV presents Sankofa, The Future of Black History, a unique Black History Month online series exploring all dimensions of time as we chronicle the Black past, command the Black present, and empower the Black future. Workshops include The Future is Black. Why is Black history under attack? With Shakara, We Create Value, the ingenuity of enslaved Africans. With Robin Walker, Ancestral Calling, Agriculture, and the Apobo Library Initiative with Aya Eneli. Quantum Field Theory as African Heritage with Asar Imhotep. For full information including dates and registration, visit gotkushtv.com. We have made history. We are making history. There is history still to be made. Sankofa, The Future of Black History. A Black History Month series not to be missed.
Yes, indeed, family. So do come true. Sankofa, the future of Black history, taking place throughout the month of October. gotkushtv.com for all further information and tickets. And also, whilst I'm giving you more information about things that will ever come up, we've got a packed month, for Black History Month. It's going to be serious, and so there's a few things that are going to be taking place. First and foremost, you need to know. There's a few things that you need to know. You need to know that you need to know that we are going to be addressing the 40th anniversary of the assassination of Maurice Bishop and the implosion of the Grenada Revolution throughout the month of October, with two shows, on the 10th and the 17th of the month. All right, so I'm going to bring up that information for you right here now. Go and set your notification reminder, kings and queens. Click that little button that says notify me, notification on, and we look forward to seeing you there. All right, so these are the two shows. Mojuba, which in Yoruba means we pay homage, Mojuba, to Maurice Bishop and the Grenada Revolution. We've got two shows. The first is going to be us just looking through films and documentaries that were produced at the time by the Grenadan people about the revolution, which lasted between the years of 1979 and 1983. And having some discussion around that. Then on the 17th, we're going to have a panel of brothers and sisters, some of those who experienced the revolution itself and who were first-hand, some of those who were around the Caribbean and were studying and involved in activism in support of the revolution. And as well, we're going to have at least one voice on the African continent on these matters on the 17th of October. So I look forward to you coming through for that. And then on the 24th and the 31st, my good sister Kushti is going to be joining me as we delve into the geopolitics of West Africa as it stands at the moment. On the 24th, Sister Kushti is going to be delivering a presentation breaking down some of the baseline information that we need to understand what is taking place. She has a very good presentation on that subject. And then Sister Kushti will join me on the 31st of October as we grill our panel on the matters, the nuances, the deep geopolitical realities, the deep economic realities that we need to be cognizant of in relation to the ongoing situation in West Africa. Now, as you can see, that these two shows are just about a month away, and so a lot of things will have taken place between now and then. And so do come through, because we're going to be giving you hot off the press significant analysis. I will let you know that Brother Sekou is one of our guests for that show. Brother Lida Bandaka, my father, is another one of our guests, and there's probably going to be a couple more. I'm seeing up a couple more at the moment. So do stay tuned. Voices that are on the continent itself. Yeah. So do stay tuned for those things right there, so kings and queens. All right, right there, so it's going to be a powerful month. And for those who are not aware, Black History Month in the UK is in fact October. Okay, last call, kings and queens. Anybody who wants to join the panel, feel free to click that link, which is in the chat right about now. And if you have a comment or a question that you want read out, feel free to @gotkushTV. Oh, by the way, my Empress was, I can't find this comment, but my Empress was saying to me that somebody had atted me and was asking why they can't send me a super chat. Yeah. Now, the reason for that is probably that you're watching via my personal channel, Shakara Speaks. And my personal channel was recently demonetized, yes, by the imperialists that run YouTube. Yeah. So evidently, you know, the anti-imperialist dialogue that permeates Shakara Speaks, they, you know, felt should not be monetized, you know, which I understand, you know what I'm saying? So I just let it go. But say they demonetized the channel. However, they haven't got around to demonetizing gotkushTV yet. So I'm assuming that's gonna come soon. But we'll see how it goes. I'm still contemplating whether to challenge these things or not, but we'll see how it goes. But if you want to send a super chat right about now, feel free to watch on gotkushTV. But more importantly, in the chat, in the description to the video, there is a Patreon link. Yeah. And so it's even better if you use the Patreon link. Yeah. For wherever you're watching right now, you'll see a Patreon link in the description to the video. So please, use the Patreon link if you would like to contribute. And we thank you in advance for all of your contributions. Yeah, for all of your contributions. Well, yeah, family, them locked down my monetization on my channel, you know, I just say it go, you know. These are the things that that we have to deal with, you know what I mean? Them ban Marcus Garvey all around the world. So we just have to expect these things. You know, I just say it go, kings and queens. But I thank you for your inquiry, and you know, I'm humbled by the thought and the intention of you super chatting. Yeah. All right, family. It looked like we're coming to a natural conclusion for today's show right here. I'm going to encourage brothers and sisters once again to check out gotkushtv.com for all information regarding the Sankofa, the Future of Black History series. We have our brother Nova and others coming over at the end of the month into November, and so no doubt we'll be profiling those events here on gotkushTV, so do stay tuned for that. I encourage you to check out SAR Netta University, SAR Netta, N-E-T-E-R S-A, sorry, S-A-N-E-T-E-R, SAR Netta, 2 words, University, because brother Sekou will be having a show this weekend. Yeah, he did tell me that he's going to have a show this weekend, and so we look forward to tuning to brother Sekou. Once again, I implore brothers and sisters to engage these conversations with honesty, because if we do not engage these conversations with honesty, we are doing a disservice to our people on the ground who are engaged in the front line of the fight. We do a disservice to our people who need proper analysis on these issues, and we are doing a disservice to ourselves as people who should be productively and constructively engaging and organizing around these issues. I'm going to give King Kel and Kushti a last word if they want it.
Yes, King, as always, you know what I mean? These shows are very beneficial. I just want to big up to the Sun people with the projects on the legacy in Birmingham, lock into that. And of course, in London and Manchester, we can't forget the Pan-Africanist family there. But yeah, Shaka, man, you know what I mean? Big up, King. Tandem Warrior, of course. Big up, King.
Yes, I. No doubt, and more and more, we're going to be trying to travel, to where our people are around the country, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, wherever we're there, to cover what's going on. So do stay tuned for that. Family, give thanks for that shout out, King Kel. Kushti, you got a last word?
Yeah, just another great show. It's great to be joined on the panel. I just want to add as well about what we just watched in the video. I think it was a bit ironic as well hearing talk about the injustice of slavery and the committed racial politics that's going on in the country. Just, I don't know, a bit of a side I watch it as well.
Sorry, Kushti, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Say that again. Say that again.
So, you know, when you were saying about, there was one point when the Guyanese president was talking, and he was talking about the injustice of slavery.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a bit ironic with the racial.
Okay, given the racial politics.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Right.
And I just think probably on another show that's going to be, I'm sure, another good topic.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the difference between enslavement and indentured servitude. Now let's get this straight. What the indentured servitude as related to the Indians throughout the Caribbean was a colonial agenda, and the Indian population was, discriminated against and oppressed within that circumstance. Yeah, but then there's a whole thing about how that parlays into the post-independence era and systems of elitism and so on and so forth, and how those systems of elitism were racialized. Yeah, not just in Guyana, but also in Trinidad, also in Jamaica and other parts of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
so I take your point.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, because I was just going to say, when we had, I think it was Brother Seti talking about Trinidad and Tobago. Is that correct?
Same much. Yeah.
Yeah. And so so that just kind of brought me
right.
We was having kind of conversation. He was talking so frank about that, which was
yes.
So then kind of things were going through my mind as he's talking the big talk.
100. Yeah. It's an interesting dynamic. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. So in fact, I don't mind telling you, one of our brothers that's going to be joining us on the 17th of October for the Grenada Revolution conversation is from Guyana. Yeah, so we'll get some history about that during that show. Yeah, a brief one, and no doubt he's quite an expert on the history of Guyana as well. So we'll bring him on another time just specifically for that. I do want to do a series of shows. I did one on my personal channel, a series on Jamaica, and I do want to do one on Guyana at some point as well, and a few other places in Africa and the Caribbean, just looking at their political history. So yeah, do stay tuned for that. Thank you, Kushti, as always. And I look
one as well to be.
Say again?
You could do one on Cuba as well. Would be
100%. 100%. That would be a powerful one. 100%.
Let's up, family.
Yes, family. And look forward to seeing you on the 24th and 31st, Kushti. You done know. All right, kings and queens, that concludes our show for this evening. Do stay tuned for next week. Ziv and I will be back. Want to send a special shout out to our brother Nana Asari, Nova Felder, once again for his contribution to our previous conversation on the UN protest last week Tuesday. Next week Tuesday we may start a bit later. Yeah, so do bear that in mind. We may start half an hour to an hour later, but we will be here. Brother Nova has asked me to announce that we are having Baba Mfundishi's Baba coming on Saturday, October 22nd at the Black Exchange Market, and on the 28th of October in London. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we're gonna do that. We're gonna roll and debate and all these things. All right. So we look forward to all of that. So yeah, be around, family, be about, you know what I'm saying? So no doubt, closer to time, yeah, we'll have more information and we'll share it with you about what's happening during the month of October into November for Black History Month, and the visit of Brother Nova, Baba Mfundishi, and others, kings and queens. All right. Tenda Mwali, be thankful unto the Mother, Father, creative life force of the universe. Kudzai Mudzimu Mukulu, give praises unto our great ancestors. Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahodi, African liberation and African power for all African people. Share.
GKTV presents Sankofa, The Future of Black History, a unique Black History Month online series exploring all dimensions of time as we chronicle the Black past, command the Black present, and empower the Black future. Workshops include The Future is Black. Why is Black history under attack? With Shakara. We Create Value, the ingenuity of enslaved Africans, with Robin Walker. Ancestral Coding, Agriculture, and the Apobo Library Initiative with Aya Eneli. Quantum Field Theory as African Heritage with Asar Imhotep. For full information including dates and registration, visit gotkushTV.com. We have made history. We are making history. There is history still to be made. Sankofa, The Future of Black History. A Black History Month series not to be missed.
Sankofa, The Future of Black History is sponsored by Black History Walks, #1 in London for Black History talks, walks, and films. For more information, check blackhistorywalks.co.uk.
Mina bakabusi nengre mefele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre mefele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre mefele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre mefele sama.
Mina bakabusi nengre mine pele